Iraq was not actively seeking a nuclear weapons capability. Iraq did not have the willingness to attack the United States. Iraq had not demonstrated capability and willingness to use weapons of mass destruction. Iraq could not launch a surprise attack against the United States or its armed forces. Therefore, there was not an extreme magnitude of harm that would result in the United States, that would result to the United States and its citizens from such an attack.
I urge you to do so. Whether Republican or Democrat, all Americans should be absolutely outraged over what the Bush administration has done. How dare they do what they did? How dare they? For 100,000 precious human beings in their cold graves right now as I am talking to you. Speaking metaphorically, I want you to hear, as I do, their cries for justice. I say that it would greatly dishonor those in their graves who paid the ultimate price because of this war were you not to refer this case to the Department of Justice. If we want this nation to become the great nation it once was, widely respected around the world, we can hardly do this if we don't take the first step of bringing those responsible for the war in Iraq to justice.
Thanks. I mean, how could George Bush be prosecuted for murder when he didn't personally kill anyone? Of course, the answer is that you don't have to personally kill someone if you're a criminal defendant to be guilty of murder. Charles Manson, you know about him. I convicted him of the 17 law-beyond murders, even though he didn't physically participate in the murders. He wasn't even present at the murder scene. Not like O.J. Simpson. Well, not only was Simpson's blood, his fresh blood, found at the murder scene, but the victim's blood was found inside his car and home. And under those circumstances, to deny guilt is the equivalent of a man being caught by his wife in flagrante delicto with another woman and saying to her, quoting comedian Richard Pryor, "Who are you going to be, me or your lying eyes?" I was able to convict Manson because of the vicarious liability rule of conspiracy, which provides that each conspirator is criminally responsible for all crimes committed by his co-conspirators, as well as innocent agents of those conspirators to further the object of the conspiracy. E.g., A and B conspire to commit a bank robbery, and A is the driver of the getaway car, B's the stick-up guy, he goes in, the teller resists, and B kills the teller. A, sitting down in his car, is guilty of that murder, even though he only conspired to commit robbery. Why? Because B murdered the teller to further the object of the conspiracy. That's the law of the land. But, one might say, since even Bush's co-conspirators, like Cheney and Condoleezza Rice, did not kill the victims who would be named in the criminal indictment in this case, the 4,000 American soldiers who have died so far in Iraq, Iraqi soldiers and civilian insurgents did, how could he be guilty of murder? The reason is that if a conspirator, or anyone for that matter, deliberately sets in motion a chain of events which he knows will cause, that's the key word, will cause a third-party innocent agent to commit an act, the defendant is criminally responsible for that act. Bush, in invading Iraq, caused Iraqis to kill American soldiers in much the same fashion that a person causes a gun to fire a bullet that kills someone by pulling the trigger. In fact, in the criminal law, innocent agents are referred to as mere instruments of the defendant. For George Bush to say that he's not responsible at all for the killings in this case would almost be the same as a conspirator arguing, my co-conspirator never killed the victim, his gun did.